So yeah, I'm Aiden Gorno. I'm here representing the collegiate pickleball. I'm an intern doing some media stuff with them this semester. And who am I here with?
Yeah, first off, nice to meet you, Aiden. Super excited that you guys have me on to talk a little bit. My name's Alec Moran. I'm the general manager of West Virginia Wesleyan Pickleball, brand new program that's starting in the fall, and excited to chop it up with you guys a little bit about college pickleball today.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just want to start from the ground up for listeners who may not know entirely what we're talking about here. What is your role there? What division are you guys? Do you know like how big this is the school or?
Yeah, so I'll start from what is my role. So the athletic director at West Virginia Wesleyan was my college tennis coach. It's been a couple years ago now. I'm about 30 years old. So he's actually the tennis coach at WVWC. He's recently became the athletic director, and he wanted to make a splash and start a new sport. And he reached out to me about potentially starting a college pickleball program. I love to play myself. I'm a former tennis coach, former college tennis coach and academy tennis coach. So I jumped at the idea. I loved it. And essentially, my role is to promote the program, create the schedule, recruit the players, and really just create everything from soup to nuts, from having absolutely nothing to having a facility, having a team, and traveling the region to play. What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
It was what division are you guys?
Oh, gotcha.
What's your classification? Yeah.
So the school itself is NCAA Division two, but I'm sure, as you guys know, college pickleball doesn't really have divisions yet. I think it's something that will come, but essentially we'll be looped in with the big boys. So our region will consist of West Virginia University, Pittsburgh University, Kentucky, Ohio State, major Division one universities. We're a school of about 1,000 students, a private liberal arts school in Buchanan, West Virginia. So to be a small private school and getting to go show up at tournaments with Power Four universities is pretty exciting and a huge recruiting piece.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for listeners who may not know, could you define like what a varsity sport is in the college scene?
Yeah, for sure. So obviously everyone knows like an NCAA sport, what that looks like, right? And then of course at the college pickleball level, it's mostly club teams, which club teams essentially are student ran. So they don't have scholarships that are actual pickleball specific or whatever club sport it is. They don't have coaches. And they don't really like have their own real like budget. They kind of have to fundraise everything. So for us, we're kind of modeling ours after Drury University. For those of you that are familiar, they're really like the pioneer of scholarship pickleball out in Missouri, and I'm pretty good friends with their coach too. So kind of taking his model of A, making sure that recruited players get scholarship, B, making sure that there's actually like a paid employee who's like making their schedule, making sure they have a coach. So they'll actually have a graduate assistant coach who coaches them. So I won't be on the court coaching. I'll just be building everything, and then we'll have a GA as a full-time on-campus coach, 7 days a week.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I am also familiar with Utah Tech University. They also kind of have a scholarship program going on. Those are just the big ones in the scene right now. But what do you think would be required for more schools to make that jump?
Yeah, honestly, man, it's really just it comes from belief at the top, right? Having administrators who want to make it happen is really the number one thing. If you have people at the top that want to make it happen, and you have a couple people that can start to build it, like we have, then anyone can do it. Ultimately, you're going to need a facility of some sort. But the nice thing is, a lot of colleges are close to a local or a park facility, so they don't have to invest in building a new facility. Now, West Virginia Wesleyan, we're a little blessed. We're going to have a brand new facility in the spring and summer, so kids are going to play on brand new set of 8 courts. But if you're close to a park, you have a facility, you can make a deal with the city, no problem. You really just need someone who can coach and someone who can recruit and someone who wants to go travel, and set up these tournaments. It's not that hard to start.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And what are like some of the advantages of becoming a varsity sport? I mean, from my understanding, it's mainly about budgeting and obviously, funding and stuff. But what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think there's a couple advantages to it, right? Ultimately, the biggest advantage is that you can recruit players and offer them scholarship, right? So a lot of times, the big universities, they have so many students that they're going to get an influx of kids who already play pickleball naturally. sort of like how club tennis really started and grew. But in varsity pickleball, when you have scholarships, I can go recruit a kid from Texas and say, hey, I know you could go play club at one of these schools and pay X amount. I can give you a scholarship and you can come be on the varsity team here. You'll have a coach, you'll get free gear associated with the team. So that to me, that's the advantage. It's a little bit more structured, and you don't have to worry about like a student or a group of students kind of piecemealing it together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And kind of like leading on this scholarship topic, like, what's like the formatting look like at that? Are they 1 year deals, multi-year commitments? Is there like a certain GPA requirement? Obviously that's common in other scholarships for other sports.
Yeah, good question. So ultimately, right, like a lot of sports have to follow the rules of the NCAA, right? Which the NCAA says a 2.0 GPA, and things like that. So for us, we don't have like a minimum, but ultimately, like we want to stay like a 2.5 minimum. Ultimately, if anyone's below a 3.0, the nice thing also is that we can use all the same resources that the rest of the athletic department has. So special tutors for athletics. Access to the strength and conditioning coaches, access to the physical therapists and physical therapy and athletic trainers. So things that like I would say a lot of club sports don't have access to. We have the same access as say the basketball team or the football team, and that's a massive advantage. So from the GPA side, we're going to try to stay like above 2.5. WVWC is pretty academically inclined, and also from a scholarship perspective, you can get a ton of scholarship through academics there. So like if you're a 3.5 student and you get pickleball scholarship on top, you're going to pay probably half of the sticker price or less.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Do you think that scholarships will become more common, like as the sport grows in other colleges?
100%, I think so. I mean, I think we're just at the very, very tip of the iceberg. As pickleball grows, both nationally and internationally, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the college tennis scene, but there's so many international student athletes coming to America to play tennis across every single NCAA division from D3 to D2 to D1 to NAI to JUCO. So, in that same fashion, right, as it grows, particularly in Asia, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see a ton of Asian student athletes coming over on scholarship to play at the major universities. Like maybe not full ride, but maybe like half ride and things like that. And maybe they have some like special NIL deals. I think it's coming quicker than we think.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. I definitely haven't even thought about the Asian players coming over for scholarships for college pickleball. Obviously, there's a lot of talk right now about Asian players coming over for pro pickleball.
Hmm.
But that kind of leads into the next topic I wanted to touch on, which is like more recruiting.
Hmm.
Like what type of players are you looking to recruit? Like, do you think you'll be looking to recruit more international players? And how do you plan to recruit those types of players?
Yeah, such a great question. And recruiting is whereas when I come from tennis, it's a lot more established, and pickleball, it's really like we're on the frontier, the very beginnings of recruiting in pickleball. But as you know, junior pickleball has only just scratched the surface. It's there's thousands of players starting every year, so I think that's going to be huge in terms of like recruiting these kids that are not quite good enough to go pro, like when they're 18, who want to go to college, continue to train, and then maybe either go pro when they graduate or works somewhere in the sport. But as far as our recruiting, we're really focusing on a couple things. Obviously, current seniors and juniors in high school who play the sports, generally like in the 4.0 plus duper range, or higher. We've definitely had some interest from kids who are in that 4.5 to 4.9 range as well. And then we're also looking at kids who play tennis in high school who aren't looking to play college at the next level, or maybe are kind of tired of tennis, but still want to be a part of a team in college and are willing to make that transition, which I've had quite a lot of conversations there too with kids like that. And yeah, a lot of excitement for kids who haven't really played, but they're interested and never really thought that they would have an opportunity to do this at the next level.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I mean, you definitely touched on some of the next things I was gonna ask you. But like just kind of, for any like high school athlete that's listening that is interested in this stuff, I mean, obviously you touched on the duper rating. Are
Mhm.
there more like academics being, having to be prioritized, or also like tournament results? Or, obviously you touched on the tennis too, but yeah, anything else?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I used to always say this when I was coaching tennis, and it's true for pickleball as it is for every other sport. But no matter what, the higher your GPA is, the more opportunities you're going to have. It's true for every single sport. You're going to be able to get more academic money at any university. Obviously, for schools that are very strict about like admission, you're going to get into more schools. Coaches are going to have a little bit more faith in you that you're going to show up and you're going to be able to handle being a student athlete. For being a student athlete's a full-time job. Pickleball will really be no different, right? If you're training 3 to 4 to 5 times a week, plus tournaments and plus school, you're going to be busy. So you have to know how to prioritize. So it just gives coaches a peace of mind to know that, hey, you're not going to be 1 or 2 semesters in and you're teetering around that 2.0 GPA level. Ultimately, the goal of college is to graduate in 4 years and to get a job. And I'll say that as a pickleball GM, just like I said it as a tennis coach. But we want people to graduate. We want them to get jobs. We want them to move on, but also to enjoy the 4 years that they have here or wherever they choose to go.
Yeah, no, that's well said. So kind of going back to like other schools, how would you recommend other schools go about creating their own like varsity pickleball programs? I mean, you already touched on that earlier, but are there
hmm
any other recommendations you'd have, considering you're, a big trailblazer in this new, frontier?
Yeah, for sure. I like the term trailblazer. I'm going to use that one, Aiden. I think a couple things. So I'll reiterate on a couple points. But I think if you For one, you have to have somebody who's willing to build it, right? You have to have somebody like me or, in that who likes pickleball, who wants to build a college sport, and maybe who has some experience coaching a different sport at the college level. You have to find a school or a university that's willing to support this. And then you have to be able to just, you have to have a facility. And then once you have those things, it can come together. Like, you just need a few kids, as you guys know, right? You need 4 players to show up to a pickleball tournament in college. You need 2 boys and 2 girls at the minimum. So, like, to only have 4 players, it's not hard to have a team, right? And for the school, it's not a big investment because if you've got 4 players and they're each getting, some scholarship on the athletic side, it's nothing in comparison to what they give to other sports. So to start's not that hard, but you do have to have people that are willing to invest some time and effort and energy and ultimately who love pickleball and see the future growth in it, right? Like I said, I think this is just the very, very beginning. I'll be interested to watch this video back in like 5 years and 10 years and see where we're at now because I think a lot of this stuff will come true, but some of it's already happened.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Um, So yeah, that's kind of the list, the end of my my main questions list. But some of the other ones I just thought of. So are you guys directly working with the NCAA? I know there's also like the NERSA. I'm sure you're familiar with them. They do kind of like uh, club sport requirements for like class requirements and stuff. But like, how are are you working with the NCAA and NERSA, or what other like governing bodies you're working with, like kind of at your school?
Yeah, so governing bodies on the pickleball side, we're not currently working with any. Ultimately, we would love to be a part of like a committee for the NCAA as the sport grows to make this an NCAA sport. Ultimately, like I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't A, want it to become an NCAA sport and B, believe that it can be. So, as the NCAA considers it, which I know there hasn't been a lot of movement there yet, or at least not publicly. I don't know what's said behind closed doors. We definitely would love to be on a committee that helps like create this as an NCAA sport. We haven't had those conversations yet. On the NERSA side, we definitely have reached out and we would like to speak with them or work with them in some capacity. I just I don't exactly know like what we can do for them or what they can do for us because do they only work with club sports? Because technically we're not a club, and like we have to be careful with the verbiage. Essentially, how it's worded, Aiden, is we're a non-NCAA scholarship sport. So essentially, we get everything that the scholarship sports get on the NCAA, but we don't abide by like the NCAA rules. You don't have to be NCAA clearinghouse. You can take fewer hours. I think you know this, but like NCAA pickleball player, I mean, I'm sorry, college pickleball players only have to take 6 credit hours to technically be eligible, whereas NCAA it's 12 credit hours full time. So.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I know that NERSA is currently working with the APP. They're kind of partnered
hmm
with them, and they were formerly
hmm
working with Duper. But right
hmm
now, yeah, it's kind of like a Wild West. Like they're just credit minimums for the different college pickleball organizations, and I know that there also been talks about having like age limits for like grad students or different things like that. But yeah, so is there anything else like you want to talk about? Again, that was like the end of my main list of questions. I mean, we kind of, you kind of answered like three in one. But yeah, anything else like you want to say on the podcast, or floor is yours?
Yeah, I think the only thing I want to say ultimately, when it comes to, what we're building is we're really looking like from a recruiting aspect, right? Like if you're a college or if you're a high school senior, whether it's Wesleyan or not, and you like pickleball or you already play the sport or you're interested in playing, there's so many club programs out there that would, that you can become a part of, whether you're a 3-0 or a 5-0. And that's the cool part about it. I think, for us, we'll have varying levels too. Ultimately, the goal is to have 5-0 type kids, right? That's where we want to be at. I don't know if we'll be there year one, but ultimately, we'll have some lower level players too. And the nice thing about pickleball is it's inclusive. And, the 3-0s are trying to become 3-5s and 4-0s, just like the 5-0s are, trying to become professionals. So, no matter what, there's a spot for you somewhere. There's definitely a spot for anyone out there at West Virginia Wesleyan. And ultimately, like, we have conversations with kids every single day about this. So if anyone's interested, we definitely have a form on our website, or you can reach out to me individually, and happy to have a 10-minute FaceTime with you and learn more. Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just another question I thought of. Do you guys have like a casual like a rec team as well, or?
Yeah, I should have touched on this already. I completely forgot. So they kind of have a group of kids already that play. So what we'll kind of have is we'll kind of have a club aspect to it too. So essentially think of it as like our competition team or the scholarship athletes. And then we'll also have a club aspect of just students on campus that want to casually play, a couple times a week. And we'll have court allocation for them to play. We'll create a schedule for them. So you don't have to be on the scholarship. And you don't have to be like a new member of campus. You can be a sophomore or junior and you can join the club and you can play, even in with the same kids that we have. So it's definitely very inclusive. Just in general, Aiden, West Virginia Wesleyan, like I said, small school, it's very inclusive and very like family like. Everyone just about knows everyone. So, just want students to have a good experience, and what better way to have a good experience than by playing pickleball and getting a degree.
Yeah, no, that's great. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, that's all the questions I have for you. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, or yeah, thanks for joining us for having this great conversation, spreading the scholarship pickleball news. And yeah, thanks for watching.